So what's up guys, it's Naratis. We're back in MCreator once again. I wanted to use 1.7.5 or whatever, but the installation just was not working. Not sure why. But basically I haven't done a video in like 2 months or something, like a serious video. And you know, I did say I was gonna do more on MCreator, and I got some positive support by many people on my MCreator series. So I thought I would at least make some more MCreator videos. Going on what I went for before, I was talking about how to make a mob. I showed you guys how to make the actual thing in MCreator, but now we're gonna go over how to model it and stuff like that. So the first thing you want to do is you can go to texturing and modeling tools and run launch Techni from MCreator. That's what I like using the best. Not sure why. I think it's just easy for me to use or whatever. Guys, please keep in mind though, I haven't actually been doing this for quite a while, so I'm not sure if I'll remember all the controls and stuff right off the bat, but I'll walk you guys through how to use the program, how to move around, how to make stuff, and then show you a quick little example of me making a mob. Here we got the epic looking Techni logo. And by the way guys, for actually texturing our model, I'm gonna make that a separate episode probably, because if not, it's gonna take like way too long to make all these episodes. And you know, I wanna keep the episodes to like under half an hour at least, because this type of stuff can actually take a long time. And if you guys are making a detailed model or a texture for the model, it can take like honestly a few hours to make the whole thing. Also, considering how some of the bigger mods have like a lot of these types of models and stuff, you can imagine that texturing it takes a long time. So first thing first, when we get introduced to Techni, we see we can select our texture stuff, the model name, and the base class. The base class has to do with like how the stuff works and the code for it. So like if I chose a pig, for example, it would start me off with like a sort of pig model, and I can change stuff on the pig, add stuff, take stuff away, sort of manipulate it from there. But I'm gonna just go base, and we're gonna go model name. Let's see, I'm gonna have to think of something to make on the spot. You know what, I'm gonna make a weird looking plant type monster maybe. I think that'd be interesting, so we're gonna go ahead and do that. We're gonna go plant thing, I don't know. For the texture, I like to go big, even though I'm pretty sure you can change it or do whatever. I'm just gonna go 128 by 128 just to make sure. Oh well, I guess 64 by 128 just to make sure I have enough space to fit everything in, because the different textures can be quite large. And obviously we can just click create, and now we have everything ready for us. Even though it might not look completely ready, we have stuff ready. So what I'm doing now to move the camera around is I'm holding down the middle mouse button or the scroll wheel and moving like that. If you right click, you can actually rotate around. So obviously rotating, moving, that's gonna be like the main way to really move around. And you can also zoom in and out with scroll, so you have all 3 main ways to move around that you could possibly need basically. So starting off, I didn't really think about how I would do this, but first we're gonna go over here to make a new cube, and we see here this is this little blue ball is actually on the corner of the cube, and that's like if it's rotating or something, if it has to rotate, that's where it's going to rotate from. So that's going to be important in a second, because we're going to need to keep that in mind for the model if you want to make your custom model, so that you can actually position the legs and arms and stuff to rotate so they look normal. Since I want to make a weird thing like a plant monster, first, I'm gonna go ahead and take this cube, and this is XYZ, so I'm gonna make it around, not sure how tall I want it. I guess not too tall, it's just a plant. I'll make it like 14 tall though. And you want to move the position down, or well, I want to, because I want it to be like that. And I actually want it to be 2 by 2, like this. And the offset, by the way, is actually relating to the blue ball, so that's how you can get it. Like for example, for me, if I'd want it to be perfectly centered like that, I would have it something like that. As you can see, this is actually like 3 blocks off the ground, so it's gonna be kind of important in a second for when I make the legs. And I'm gonna go ahead and already start naming stuff. I'm gonna call this body. And then I'm gonna go make another cube, move it down. And if you guys actually look to this side, you can see the texture is already being made up here. And if you come here, you see the texture offset. So we're gonna wanna keep that in mind too. Because if you don't, basically your texture is going to be all overlaid and messed up, and you definitely don't want that. Now this is another place that this little blue ball comes in, actually, like, you need to use it. First off, I'm going to make this 4, and then I'm going to have to move this forward so it's centered, or actually what you want is so that the blue ball is exactly where you want it to be, like so. And then you want to move this in terms of that, so like where you want it to be, like this. That way when the leg moves, it's going to be moving around this point right here. So obviously I want this to look kind of derpy because, I don't know, it's just a random plant thing. Just go ahead and click 19. And if you just click on it, it's going to automatically send you to looking at that position. So now we have legs. It's already looking kind of weird. That's nice. I like it. First, I'm going to go ahead and name this. Also, the names, this is another important thing. None of the names can be the same, because if they are the same, it will automatically mess stuff up in your coding, because the way the coding works is it needs to call for different pixels to be on different cubes and stuff. So it's important that all of your cubes are considered like separate. Also, when it comes to animating, like for run animation and stuff like that, all the cubes have to be separate as well. This is gonna be like a leaf on it or whatever. We're gonna have one right here, like this, maybe a bit bigger for leaf, like so. And we can also put some rotation in here, so like rotate it like that a bit, maybe rotate it like this a bit. So that also, using rotation can add like a lot to your models. And you can actually make sort of curved type looking stuff using rotation. And you can have things at like 45-degree angles, stuff like that. You can do all of that with rotation. So that's also important for like if you want wings or something, or like if you want a leg sticking out in a different direction. It's going to be important. As things go, I'm just going to add one extra thing like this. That was 7 and 4. This will also be like a 7 and a 4. This is going to be a super derpy looking mob for sure. Next, I want to have a head. I'm just going to make it a really basic looking head, just cause, you know, I want to keep this really super simple. For the head, you want the neck to be connected and centered. So like for this, I would have it like this, so that the head moves around this point right here, which is where it's going to connect to the neck. All important. Yes, very good. All right, cool. So we basically have our whole thing. If you wanted to copy this and then paste it, you can do that as well. If you wanted to, you can delete the box. You can load a texture, which is going to have to be for there. So I'll show you what to do with that in a bit, because it's going to be a little hard to do the texture, but we're not going to go over making the texture right now, just actually setting it up. As you can see right now, the texture is all messy and it's overlapped, and you wouldn't be able to see anything in there. So I'm going to move stuff around a little bit to fix it and basically just make it better. Now, the way I like looking at it is sort of like this, which, I mean, you guys can set up the texture any way you want, but this is just the way I sort of like to do it myself personally. Have everything lined up about where it sort of makes sense to be lined up. So since this leg is this one, I'm gonna make it relative to the way I see it, so like this. And you know, a lot of people like have the textures together. I like to space things out sort of where I can, but you guys can sort of do whatever you want with it. Really, it's up to you. As you can see now, the textures are all spread out and set up and ready for us to go. And yeah, that's it for basic modeling and how to use Techni. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all the likes, comments, and if you want to leave a suggestion below on what I should do next, please leave that in the comments below. And also, if you guys want to keep updated with my channel, I would appreciate if you guys subscribed, just to keep up to date with the content I'm uploading and, you know, stuff like that. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.